that was a venture capital company started by an entrepreneur in the telecoms businesses. And I was supposed to stay there for 6 months, and I started their relationship, which still lasts today. I've got regular contacts with the founder of that company 20 years later. And what I realized is that I learned a lot more in those times working in that background with an entrepreneur than I ever had when I was in business school. And it really opened my eyes to a world of people who owned and control their own destinies and businesses. And the conclusion of that is, that's what I wanted to do, for the rest of my career. I started my first company when I was 29. It was fairly small and fairly successful, and essentially spent my entire career, buying companies, selling them, redeploying my capital, raising money from other people to build bigger and bigger businesses. My last 2 companies were in Germany and Switzerland, in the telecoms field, where we really benefited from the substantial growth of internet, broadband internet access, and voice over IP. My Swiss company was the first one to roll out a voice over IP service on a commercial basis. And so where does that leave me today? I'm essentially retired, and I spend most of my time helping people who are starting businesses and need assistance of all sorts. There's never a day where I wake up not remembering that my career would have been very different if I didn't have a mentor. And that's what I try to do for younger people at this stage. And then I'd like to finish my introduction with 2 points. The first one is, and I don't want to be in contrast with the whole conference, which is about innovation, but I have to admit something. I'm personally not smart enough to have invented something or come up with an idea that was capable of changing the world. And of course, it's wonderful to start in life with the concept that that's what you ought to do if you want to be an entrepreneur. But let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong about taking someone else's idea, a dust-off idea, try to get in control of a company that has a pretty good concept, dust it off, and use your skills to do something else better with. And that's probably a much simpler way to be an entrepreneur, to be in control of your destiny, if that's what you're seeking to do. And then the other thing that I'd like to do is don't let the environment depress you. Of course, the economic environment in Europe and in the world is very difficult now. There will be excuses your entire life not to do something. It's much easier to start a company and take your own destiny in your hands when you're young. So don't listen to people who tell you the environment is not right. Wait, just do it now. There's a lot of risk involved in being an entrepreneur. There's a lot of risk involved in owning and controlling your company. And there's always a possibility of falling flat on your face. And when you're young, you can pick up the pieces, dust off, and move on. And so, if I were you, I just wouldn't wait. Just get it done now.
Thank you very much, Bruno. I think mentoring is something that we definitively have to extend and try to generalize in Europe. So I will give the floor now to Jan. Jan is chairman of Microsoft Europe.
Yeah, I'm Mühlfeit chairman of Microsoft in Europe. I am software engineer by profession. I was running startup before I was hired by Microsoft almost 20 years ago when they started the operation in the CE, and then I was running different areas. But probably one of the most important piece of my career was between 2000 and 2005, and I was running Central and Eastern Europe, which was 4 years in a row best business for Microsoft worldwide. That's why I was asked to write strategy for emerging markets. So I knew a lot already at that time about the break and what's going on, the whole phenomena we've got today. That's one piece I wanted to share. The other piece, today my job is, because I didn't move to the United States, I'm European by heart, and I carry the Czech passport and a German, driving license, but I do everything basically. What is on the cross section between technology and the society? And I can tell you, technology is, amazing. Right? When I was born, I will be 50 next year. When I was born in 1962, you could buy for $1 one transistor. Today you can buy 1 billion transistors. And information technology is growing exponentially. And I think opportunities are growing exponentially. But that technology equipped only around 2 billion people on the planet. Now I think these days we will be like 7 billion. I think this week or the next week will be 7 billion on the planet. So to figure out how to, equip another 5 billion, and it will be possible only through technology. And there are huge developments. Cloud computing today, it's what electricity was for industrial era. It's a huge breakthrough. Natural user interface, man-machine. I'm always intrigued in man-machine, interface. So the opportunities are huge for you to start companies. And I think that technology will not necessarily change what we will do in the society, but very significantly will change how things will be done. And one example, I will use very traditional product, cars, okay? Today, new Mercedes, it's 19 full-fledged computers. 60% of the budget for the car is software. So it's no more hardware product, it's a software product. And it's done by the people, by the human beings. The software is the soul of technology, if you will. So there are huge opportunities, but there are a couple of challenges which we need to address in Europe, but we will talk during the panel session about them.
Thank you very much, Jan. Now the next one is Anna Czekaj. She's a business angel from Go Beyond.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Anna Czekaj, and yes, I wear many hats. Today here, my hat is being a business angel, so private investor for a Swiss company, for the Swiss Business Angel Network, not even a company. Actually, I'm Polish, from Kielce, which is 120 kilometers from here. For those who are Polish, know where it is. For those who are not Polish, don't, but doesn't matter. For the past 14 years, I lived in Switzerland. And one thing that I actually need to tell you that right now, world is so small that it really doesn't matter what's your nationality. 14 years ago, it did matter because I was not in the European Union and it was hard to get a place, to be considered in a place like Switzerland. But right now, it doesn't matter if you are from US, Europe, India, China, wherever, you are just the same. So don't be shy to go with your project. And to go with your project and to go with your ideas. And actually what is equally important right now, you don't conquer the world on your own. You actually need to have a team with yourself. And personally, what I tell you about myself, my background is marketing management, and I know little about the technology, but if you tell me about your technology, I can transfer it, I can actually sell it to someone who knows nothing about technology. And you need to have a person like that in your team. I will not tell you I am an entrepreneur and the leader of the company because I never founded my own company, but without a person like me in your team who can commercialize your product, you will have much less chance to become, to get to these 2 out of 10 companies that succeed. So really, the earlier you actually understand that you need to build the team that have different skills, the more you have a chance to succeed. So actually network and don't be shy to go to more experienced people for help, for advice, but also to team up with other people of other universities, other majors that actually you can brainstorm, you can share the ideas and be open. Basically what is the key to the success is be open. You can have one idea and the same idea you can sell to the different audiences just by changing the point of view. To one audience you would actually ask your technology guy to speak. To the other audience you will ask your business guy to speak. And you would get money from one or from the other depending how do you present your idea. So that's my introduction. Start.
Thank you, Anna. So we will go through, let's say, 5 questions now. So what I proposed, I will raise the question and then give the floor to the speaker, the ones who want to answer to that question. And after that, we will try to, let's say, let the audience to ask one question after that. And if we can manage with the time constraint, then we will go like that. Otherwise, we will keep the question for the end of the session. So the first question is, what are the strengths and weaknesses that you see in European startups? How can these strengths be exploited and weaknesses be addressed? So who wants to start? You?
Yeah, I was by chance yesterday coaching. There was a boot camp in Prague. It was like 20 companies from all over the Europe, you know. And it is clear that technology-wise, those companies are really, really very good. They have a good, you know, ideas. What is missing there? It's more, you know, sales marketing skills. And what is missing there at all? It's because if you are in the startup business, especially in our field, you need to hire the right people, and then you need to develop with the people. I'm always saying we are not in the business, in technology business, but we are in the business to unlock human potential, right? And it has to do, I think the key is to fix education. And I would call it STEM plus, right? There are some countries which are doing a good job with the science, technology, engineering, and math education, like, you know, I would say Germany. Now, for example, Sweden will spend 300 million to fix, you know, mathematics classes, 300 million euros. That's what I heard. But for this injury, it's 10 plus. What I mean by plus, it's really sales, marketing skills, communication, and self-awareness. You need to, if you want to be entrepreneur and leader, you need to understand who you are in order to understand who are the others in your team and also who are your customers. And that's, I think, it's, you know, weakness. And that's something which the big companies through the EIT or, you know, other institutions can help. Because if we do something good, you know, people like Microsoft, Google, IBM, and others, I think it's a human resource development. That's what we know how to do it.
I can add on this one, maybe, considering the marketing and the sales. Don't be shy to ask the experienced people. Right now, you have a great market opportunity of having a lot of people that left the corporations and they are available or early retired or just changing their careers. And don't think that you don't have enough money to pay them. They will be very happy to actually discuss terms of different terms, like the shares in the company, or just some of them who kind of early retired and don't have any money would do it for fun, but just for fun and just a little money, more like the reward. So just don't wait with these just until you have enough money to pay them. Just go and look for them.
Thank you.
And if I may add something on weaknesses, before this session I interviewed some seasoned venture capitalists who have experience across Europe and in Poland. So everybody says lack of teams, which has already been discussed, but also parochial thinking. And here in EIT, you probably have already overcome this drawback, but it's very typical in innovative startups that they think about their small domestic market, even because large countries in Europe are big enough for their market. But in today's environment, it's not enough. Venture capital investors say that Israel is such a hub for innovative enterprises also because it's such a small market that they must think about going global if they want to be successful.
Yeah, another thing I may add is, because actually I've been doing my master thesis on market penetration of solar thermal water heating, comparing US and Germany. And it's quite interesting to see how policy measures in Germany and US are different, and everybody says, okay, in Germany they have just much higher subsidies for solar energy. But it's not true if you look at it on large time scale. On short years, the US have been much stronger supportive for solar energy, however, it wasn't consistent. European countries at least provide a very stable basis to foresee markets and make your business plan and see, okay, we're going to have a market there. And if that's not the case for the country that you start in, you're still, through the EIT, you may be able to group your team a bit strategically with other countries potentially, and then just go for where the market is.
Thank you, Boris. Any question from the audience or any comment regarding that point? Yes, two people there.
This was very much about weaknesses. I find that disappointing. Could you give some indication of these as strengths? Because that was part of the question too.
I got a very interesting answer from my interviewees to this question. And he pointed out that European innovative entrepreneurs are very talented to do a lot with the little they have. They work in a very tougher environment in terms of financing, commercial terms financing than their colleagues or counterparts in the US. And they're really very creative to exploit the little they have.
Yeah, another thing that comes to my mind, I read TechCrunch every day. Somebody of you may know this site. It's showing all the startups from the US that pop up every day. And it's amazing how useless things, I believe, come up there. And I think this could be a great strength of the European startup scene, that they, instead of looking for an opportunity, they look for pain points and what really matters. Where can we solve problems instead of creating things that may be useful for 1 year, 2 years, some apps or so, but in the long term don't solve real problems.
Okay, we will keep. Yeah, okay, one.
I just have a follow-up question from Mr. Mühlfeit about.
Could you give micro, sorry, because I'm not sure that we hear.
Follow-up question from Mr. Mühlfeit about human resource development. I'm in education, and you already mentioned, fixing education. What do you believe we can do in academic education to maybe already kickstart the human resource development that you do so well as big companies?
This is funny because yesterday, once flying here from Vienna, there was a lady sitting with him and with me, and she was reading some article, and the title of that article was "Innovation Starts in the Kindergarten," and that's what I believe in. I think we need to start. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but we need to start in kindergarten.